Their 6th and 7th man may as well be one of us. It's actually something bigger than the Kyrie trade to the Mavs this week. Left over right.
Left over right.
If I can change, Kyrie can change too.
Yo, can you believe it? We are in new venue. Hey, we're booking out venues now, guys. We are big time. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time to the show, my name is Wesley, this is Tim, and this is Kirk. And you are watching Season 2, Episode 9 of the NBA SA Show. What's up? I'm so excited for this episode.
In front of a live studio audience.
In front of a live studio audience at a new venue. We booked out a house for this venue. Can the audience say yeah?
Sold out. Only standing room. Only standing room.
It's like a... Okay. Why am I coughing?
You're not used to all that attention.
No, it's a bit too much for me. Anyway, welcome to the show, fellas. Tell me how you doing?
Always good.
Lovely. How do you feel? We've got a lot to talk
I
about.
feel as good as Bob.
Ooh, look at Timmy quoting everything. Katie, how are you?
I am fantastic.
Lovely.
We were a bit worried about the trade season.
Yeah.
And Timmy was making some bold statements that was going nowhere.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, bah!
Bang!
Shit happened.
Shit went down. Depending on when you watch this, today is the day that Kevin Durant got traded to the Phoenix Suns. And we never spoke about what we were wearing. Turn it around to me.
Yeah, it's got the 7 there.
Yeah. He's got Durant. I got Durant. Katie's got Durant. I mean, everyone spoke about it. But in today's episode, we're talking all things Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie Irving in that big blockbuster trade got moved to Dallas, and Tim will have so much to tell us about how Kyrie is perfect for the Dallas Mavericks, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Also in the show, we're talking the NBA All-Star Game. Now, we have the forwards and the guards that have all been chosen. There are starters and the reserves. But there are always players that we feel should have made that team. And I'm going to ask Kirk and Tim to pick 2 players who they feel should be in and which 2 players they feel should be out. And a little bit later in the show, we are talking about the MVP race. Now, when I checked, the top 3 players in the MVP race right now is Jokic. I think second is Embiid, right?
Yeah.
And third is Giannis. There are no guards. And... well, there is a guard, but there are no guards in this run. That sounded weird, but that's fine. And my question to them is, where are the guards? Why aren't they here? And who will be next? Not Luka. You can't say Luka. Give me some other name. All this and so much more on the NBA SA Show. Catch you after the break.
Hey, we made it. Nigga, we made it. Hey. Damn, we made it. Nigga, we made it.
Welcome back to the NBA SA Show, Season 2, Episode 9. Say bye to the studio audience. They were just here for 2 minutes. Say bye, guys. That's how dedicated our family is. They come for the intro and then they're like, nah, we're good for the rest. But you have to watch.
They wanted to know what the episode's about.
Correct, yeah. And they were like, there's nothing that we want to hear. There's nothing we want to hear. Timmy, let me start with you, bro. We've had a big week of trades. I know that you want to talk about Kyrie and Dallas, but I'm going to ask you to not. But what has your week been like watching basketball, bro?
So first of all, we doubled down last week.
Yes.
And we said this week stuff was going to happen. Right? And I am super happy that it did. And actually, we did say that the whole landscape of the NBA could change. Yeah. And I'd argue that it probably did. And less so because of Dallas. Right? And Brooklyn looked like they were doing some good things until they got rid of KD as well. And I'm not actually sure where it leaves them. But I think the biggest news and the things that people should be talking about most is the fact that the Suns probably have, if not the best, one of the best 1 or 2 5-man rotations, right? I mean, once Chris Paul gets injured in the playoffs, they're screwed. Right? Because they have
Not anymore.
nobody.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Because their 6th and 7th man may as well be one of us.
Wow. Okay.
And without giving away too much, right? People always make fun of the Lakers and the team that people love to hate, right? The reality is that they are better now than they were a week ago. And they only gave away 1 pick and they got off a really bad contract, right? I think, look, I'm not convinced that I'd go and put any of my money on them to win anything. But it's going to make it interesting. I think that they're going to compete, and I think those are really interesting stories. And if anybody thinks that it's all over, I just want to go. Well, there are a lot of big contracts, or at least some big contracts that were moved, right? Like a Russell Westbrook, right? And it's likely that they get bought out, right? And then all of a sudden, you are going to see the possibility of a Westbrook in Miami, right? Think of him splitting with Spo and with Jimmy Buckets. There's an attitude that necessarily works there. Or alternatively, actually, the rumor mill has it that the Clippers might get rid of John Wall. That experiment hasn't taken place. The one person that Westbrook has played well with is Paul George, right? And there's a real theory that actually he could get bought out, right? Out of Utah and make his way into the Clippers. Remember, he played college basketball in California as well, right? There's a home league, be comfortable.
And that's why I wanted to go to LA.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the first place.
Exactly. So, as much as there's been some big news, like, keep watching because there might be more.
Nice one, Tim. Nice one. KD, what has Golden State done? No one's even talking about Golden State at all. How's your week been, bro?
It's been interesting because I was really high on Brooklyn and the moves that they were making because they were 4th in the East and they were rolling. I mean, so when KD went injured, they went in a bit of a losing tear because their focal point was Kyrie and he's not KD. As great as he is, I was telling Timmy earlier on, like, I realized that I really enjoy watching Kyrie play. Like, take all the other mess out of what he does. When he's on the basketball court,
My bro.
it is something to behold. It's like, just that bra is so smooth, he's so silky. So I was really enjoying watching Brooklyn, and then this happened. So we'll talk about it later, but that puts an end to my Brooklyn viewership.
Now you can enjoy watching the Mavs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yes.
So, and in the West, I'm still watching Clippers. I'm really interested to see how far they can go. And actually, it's weird. On my Facebook feed, a post that I posted in 2019, I think it was, of their kit with the Grand Theft Auto font.
Los.
And I was like, and I posted, I really hope the Clippers do well because I would love to wear this kit. And I'm still hoping because that's such a fly kit. But yeah, so you can get it from the jersey rack.
Yay! Check the plug. Check the plug, pal. Check the plug.
So yeah, so those are the 2 teams that I've been watching, and I don't remember if we spoke about me watching Sacramento last time around.
You said you'll watch.
But go watch them because they are playing old Golden State basketball, and it's fun to watch.
All right. Thanks, fellas. Now, we first gonna go for the ad break, and after the ad break,
We just had the ad break.
we are talking Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving, and can Kyrie and Luka pull it off? Catch you after the break. British Queen. Left hand on the right hand.
Yeah.
I didn't actually do that.
Okay. Welcome back to the show. Kirk is just educating us on how posture and how the American TV shows do it. Left hand over right hand,
And over right hand.
and you sit up straight.
Yes.
Oh, and then the elbow?
That's
that
when you
the-
spin. That's when you freestyle. When you freestyle, you can do the lean.
Welcome back to the show. It's the NBA SA show. We're going to move on to a topic which I really believe is going to be a big topic for the rest of the season, which is the Dallas Mavericks. I believe the acquiring Kyrie Irving is the best thing that could happen to Luka. And I'd love to know your thoughts on it, gentlemen. Timmy, I'm going to start with you as the big Dallas fan within our group. You must be over the moon.
I am Wiz, but before we talk about
I don't want to talk about
That's-
Fabs.
Tim does not want to talk about the Mavs. Okay? I'd love to know what you want to talk about. Please tell me.
well,
Please
you
tell
know,
me.
Wiz, it's actually
Yes.
something bigger than the Kyrie trade to the Mavs this week. Bigger, historic,
KD.
and it
Okay.
will be
He's bigger.
Miles Bridges
He's literally bigger.
going to Brooklyn. Yeah.
And it would be disrespectful if we didn't at least acknowledge what happened this week. And for those of you guys who don't know, LeBron passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the all-time leading scorer for an entire career. And it's taken 20 years to do so. Right? And you said it a couple of weeks ago. We had a conversation about LBJ, and he said when he passes this mark, right, what is it going to do for his legacy? Right? And the reality is that I think that was the wrong conversation to have. Because if we talk about whether it's going to change his legacy or not, it means by default, right, we are comparing whatever he does to MJ. And the reality is that that is unfair. Yeah? If you get an A and then I get an A, right, we both got A's.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing for us to do, right? And it almost takes away from the way that we view LeBron, right? What we are witnessing here is a privilege, right? To be able to witness, right? Whether he's the second greatest or first greatest, it doesn't matter. We are witnessing a great player, right? For 20 years, right? Who just did something sensational, right? And it shouldn't be about Jordan. It shouldn't be about Jordan looming in the background, right? Because Jordan is still great, but that doesn't mean what this feat and what was achieved now isn't special, right? And what was cool to watch, right, wasn't actually the moment it happened, right, or the $90,000 seats in the front row, right? What was cool to watch about that is his family immediately coming through afterwards, right? And probably what you could describe as one of the more organic sort of interviews that has, where he's just speaking emotion from the heart. It wasn't put on a production, right? Like so many of the other things that he says and he does, right? I thought it was a cool moment,
Dropping
right?
bombs.
I thought it was a cool moment. I thought it was great. I love the fact actually that the NBA actually did stop the game, right? Right? It was a nothing game.
Honor it.
Right?
Honor
the moment.
Honor the moment.
Right? And keep it moving. And I think, well, if they could stop that game, we could stop a conversation about the Mavs.
For a little bit.
Just for this.
Can we officially give LeBron James the NBA SA a round of applause?
Yeah. Lift over right.
Lift over right. Can you give me your, sorry to interject here, but give me your thoughts quickly on LeBron achieving it, just to add to what Timmy said.
Yeah, I mean, so as he says repeatedly, he's never seen himself as a scorer. He's always seen himself as a pass first player. And I think that is probably the most impressive stat was that he's on, it's 27, 7.5, 7.3 for his career. I mean, that's phenomenal. That is
20 years.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
20, he's averaged that for 20 years, and I think that is the most impressive thing. What was even more impressive for me was the fact that he broke the record on a mid-range jump shot, which is his worst shot. Statistically, he is worst at that shot, and he broke it with a fadeaway, which I thought was pretty cool. What I also liked was it was halftime. At halftime, he was sitting with his kids, and he was like, I think he had 20 at the half, and he was like, 18. Do you think I should go for it? And he's like, yeah, go for it. I was like, okay, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go. That was pretty cool. I'm sure there's the pandering to the camera
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
It was drama, it was
Yes,
showmanship.
yeah.
This was quiet. I thought it was a nice touch. But
Yeah.
But look, I like you all know that I hate on LeBron. I hate on LeBron in the context of the GOAT debate.
Yes.
But as a player, as this generation's greatest player,
Yes.
he's befucked.
Yeah.
He's quiet. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't. There are times when you feel there are weaknesses in his game, but he just rises to the
Comes
occasion.
back. Comes back.
He makes big shots. He makes big plays. He just gets it done. He's like, and that was the interesting discussion that I heard where he doesn't have a signature move, and that's why it's difficult to class him as a scorer, because he doesn't have this signature move that everybody has, or that all scorers pride themselves on.
Yeah, he does. He's a bully.
Does he play Goku?
Yeah.
It's ain't pretty.
No.
There's nothing pretty about his game, but he gets it done. Yeah.
Nah, epic. I'll leave us with this one LeBron stack that I heard in the week, was that if you wanted to beat LeBron's playoff average, right? If you scored 20 points per game in every playoff game, and you did that for 20 years, you still wouldn't have his points. Playoff points. 20 years, 20 points per game, every game. You still wouldn't have his amount of points.
Yo, that's because he went so deep in the finals every year.
Yeah.
I mean, so deep into the
10
playoffs
years, yeah,
every year.
the final 10 years. It's crazy, man.
So,
Crazy.
so just throw some shade on the stats. Because we can't have a LeBron conversation without throwing shade on the stats. So he's played for 20 years. He's played 1,409 games at this point. That's an average of 70 games per year. He's only played 80 plus games twice in his entire career.
Yeah.
Right? And he's played from high school. Right? So he skipped college. He came straight into the NBA. He's played for 20 years. But he's played at a tick of 70 games per year. So when we say that it's a phenomenal feat, I believe that the record could be broken within the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to get broken again.
That's exactly what I spoke about in the last episode, was that I believe that when someone breaks a record, it makes everybody else go,
It's achievable.
no. Surely Luka must be thinking, now that we're
It's
moving on to the
too
Dallas.
late for him.
No, it's not. No, it's not even close. Hey, Tim.
Funny you should mention Luka.
Money.
Yeah.
So glad you brought this back.
Yeah.
Back to the man.
Yes.
What question would you like me to answer?
I'd like you to answer how you feel about the Kyrie trade. You had a team that we all agreed could do really well. I think we all picked them to go to the Western Conference Final, right? In the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you just landed, arguably second, maybe best, maybe second best scorer in the league. Talking about scorer. If you got a minute left in the game and the scores are tied, every coach would agree. I don't know how you guys feel, but if you gave Kyrie the ball, you'd feel confident that.
That's going to be a problem though.
Why?
Because Luka wants the ball.
Well, now you got two options. So now you got to worry about how you're going to defend this, right? To me, are Dallas better?
Okay. You first asked about my emotions. And then you asked whether they're better or not.
Yeah. It's loaded. It's a loaded question.
And like Katie pointed out about him and his relationship with LeBron, my view on Kyrie is well documented about being highly suspicious.
Yeah.
And the fact that I wouldn't want him near any team I supported. Right? But thankfully, we don't do this as a job. Right?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we are fans first.
Yes.
And as any self-respecting fan who cares about their happiness, I've spent the last couple of days talking myself into why Kyrie. Why Kyrie is a good thing for the Mavs, sir.
Yes.
So, in all seriousness, we all picked the Mavs to go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Based on what they achieved in the playoffs last year. The reality is that this year, they haven't been good. They have been muddling in the middle. They have some stretches where they're decent, some where they're really poor. The defense has been terrible, right? And putting Kyrie into the squad. And every time Luka doesn't play, by the way, they lose.
Yes.
0-7 without Luka.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, until last night.
Yeah.
So by the way. Yeah.
But I mean, it emphasized why, for me, it was an amazing trade.
Yeah. So look, the upside is higher.
Yes.
There is no doubt about it, right? And I suppose the other piece, and the upside on the court, right? The other piece that is hugely important, and it's not necessarily just about this year, right? Because the mid-season trade, that's going to be difficult to pull together in any event.
Correct.
Right? The more important part is going forward. It's a lot easier to find other players to put around them to make them good. All of a sudden, right, now you're playing on the fringes. Now you're looking for 3-and-D guys, right? You don't need people who need to create offense. You don't need shot makers, etc., etc. You can more easily fit the mold around those two, right? And people will go back and say, well, the Mavs screwed up the Brunson piece, right? I'm still not 100% convinced that they completely screwed up in any event, right? But surely Kyrie and Luka, right, is better than Brunson and Luka.
100%.
Right? And I love Dinwiddie. I love both Dinwiddie and Dodo. Right? But the reality is that Kyrie and Luka are better than those two, and you can find those other players more easily. So for the future, I think it's phenomenal for them, right? And I suppose when Kleber comes back, you start getting a lineup with Kleber, Wood, Hardaway, Luka, Kyrie. All of a sudden, like they can compete with anybody.
Yeah.
They might not be able to stop anybody, right? But they'll compete with everybody, right? And I'm excited about that.
KD, how do you feel about that?
I'm just gonna burn some sage while he talks.
Yeah. Your new thing now. Tell me his new thing now.
They discovered Sage in Dallas. So as I said earlier, I like watching Kyrie play basketball. He's just a quiet
He's a showstopper.
He's got that vibe about him that just makes you
Love
what he
yes,
does.
Yes.
But in terms of X's and O's, it's fantastic. The theory behind the two of them playing together and making Dallas a better team is fantastic in terms of X's and O's. But basketball is played by people, and Kyrie is a person that is not a fantastic person. And if you ask Boston, if you ask Cleveland, if you ask Brooklyn, they will all say he was fantastic for a year. He was okay for the second year. The third year. So if Dallas don't win a chip in the next 2 years with Kyrie, then it's going to be done. I mean, we've seen it in the past. We've seen his track record. The reason Dinwiddie worked well, the reason Brunson worked well, especially Dinwiddie, in all Dinwiddie's interviews, what does he say? Luka is the man. Luka is our guy. We look for him. We follow his lead. Kyrie's not the fuck gonna say that.
We look for Luka. Can't see him, so I did it myself.
The reason Kyrie worked with LeBron was because he played with the greatest player of this generation. And it's easy to fall into line when that brother's better than you.
Correct, yeah.
Right?
Correct.
When you perceive that brother to be better than you.
Yes.
So if I perceive Luka to be a young foreigner that is trying to get his piece, but I'm the bra, I got the chip. I don't know how that relationship's gonna work.
So you don't buy into it?
Even when Kyrie played with LeBron, why did he leave Cleveland? He wanted his own team. Right? Hopefully he's grown up. Hopefully he's matured. It's been a long time. But I mean, he just left Brooklyn, which was probably his best shot at the finals since Cleveland. And he left them because of money. He wanted a better contract. He didn't feel respected, blah, 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 blah. So for him, while the X's and O's are great, it's not about the X's and O's for him. It's about, he said something very interesting. He said, I don't want to be tolerated, I want to be celebrated. And that says a lot for the type of person that he is. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. In terms of X's and O's, they were a contender until today. Because the KD Suns, for me, that makes them out and out favorites to make the finals. Even with CP3. But in terms of Kyrie and Luka, I'm going to be watching very closely, but I'm not convinced that it's going to work. It will work for maybe this season, halfway into next season, until contract negotiations start, and then we're going to see some stuff.
Interesting thoughts, man.
I just have a few comments on that because being the Mavs fan and being open about my previous feelings about Kyrie, people can
Who will they change? Who will they change quick?
Who will they change quick? If I can change, Kyrie can change too.
Amazing what fans do. Amazing.
But also there've been a lot of criticism going, well, they can't coexist, for example, right? Or Luka uses the ball too much, right? Or Kyrie needs the respect, right? And it's interesting because I've thought about this a lot over the last couple of days. People make some assumptions of Luka and what he thinks, right? But actually there's not a hell of a lot in the media. He doesn't do many interviews.
No.
In fact, he almost does no interviews.
Yeah.
They handle his image all the way from his people through to Mark Cuban himself.
That's
right. So for example, a few weeks ago, maybe about a month or two ago, right? Somebody in Dallas, one of the fans, got upset. So he painted a mural of Luka next to some highway or something, right? Something that was very public, right? Put the mural there and it said, "Get me help." Right? Okay. Mark Cuban called that dude.
Wow.
The person responsible for it. And he said, "Okay, will you please put it down?" Right? It's disrespectful for the rest of the team. Right? And it makes Luka look bad. Right? It's not what Luka's thinking. Luka's never asked for anything like that. Right? My point is, they curate a lot of what he thinks. So it's interesting that everybody's got these points around what Luka will do, what Luka won't do, right? Or Kyrie or not. Right? The reality is, and again, people talk about this usage rate and Luka wants a ball in his hand at the end of each game. That's actually not the case. If you look at the last season, more buzzer beaters were hit by Spencer Dinwiddie, right? With Luka standing on the side, right? Either while Dinwiddie danced or Luka giving him the ball, right? And then celebrating with everybody as he made that shot.
It's because, when did I say Dinwiddie knew how to play the game?
I'm going to go between the two of them, they'll be fine. Right? I agree with you, right? And here's the interesting thing. When Kyrie left, you don't hear players talking badly about Kyrie. The players enjoyed him. Yeah. His teammates enjoyed him. Yeah. Harden, Kyrie, they stood by this guy all the way to the end, right? And it's not even that he was mean to the club or the rest. It's that you make a bony decision, right? And be anti-Semitic, right? Or talk about the earth being flat. Yeah. Right, or not taking. Those are the three big ones, right?
Yeah. And where is he now? Where is he now?
Yeah. I mean, Texas is going to be amazing.
Check Texas.
Say a minute.
I'm assuming that they don't make the trade unless there isn't some sort of understanding around what he's going to get paid and not. Right? I'm under the impression that both him and Luka, right, had sort of agreed to the fact that this would be a good thing. I'm under the impression that they will take care of him and his public persona as much as they do with regards to Lucas. I'm hoping that there's some maturity that's happened over the last 3 years. I am hoping.
There's a lot of hope here. There's a lot of hope.
Because if they keep the two of them together, that Nico Harrison, Mark Cuban, they're willing to spend, they're willing to wine and dine, they can get the right group of people around them, and they're young.
But again, it comes down to Kyrie and his maturity. That's the bottom line. If he's smart to talk about the earth or the wheat fields in wherever he is in Dallas, say something offside about
Cotton Fields.
Mormontown
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Slavery. Come up with something. Beware to me. Beware. But let us know your comments, please. We'd love to know what you guys think about this trade. I am just super excited at the thought that left over right. I'm just excited.
It was a worthy effort. It was a fantastic.
But Dallas is going to be exciting. They've got two players that can score 35 to 40 points on any night. And I think if you put, it's almost like a Brazilian soccer team.
Oh, yeah.
You can score 2, maybe 3 goals. I'm going to score 4. And that's the feel I get from Dallas.
Look, if the game is close within the last 2 minutes,
You must be scared.
that's it.
You must
They'll
be
win
scared.
any one of those.
Yeah. And whether Luka has the ball, doing his thing, passing the ball to a wide open Kyrie, that's even scarier.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be cool. After the break, we talk NBA All-Star Game and taking players out, as well as the MVP conversation. All this, stay tuned. I hope you're still tuning in.
Liam is tipping there.
Welcome back to the show. It's the NBA SA show.
Is there meant to be a camera up there though?
No, we're going with one camera at the moment.
Okay.
Because we are talking the All-Star Game and the All-Star players. A lot has been... Yes, Liam?
Do you have anything to say?
Do you have anything to say, Liam?
Now
You had your hand up, Mr. Producer.
Sorry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have
Oh, you do have something to say.
Oh, is this your section? What are we calling this section, to me? Liam, Producer Liam? That's his name, but this part of the show is called...
Producer Liam's Corner.
What do you want to go with?
That whole interaction there must be like fucking lame Liam's Lombardo or whatever.
Liam's Lombardo. Liam's Lombardo.
Liam's Lombardo.
What's up, man? Are we playing a game?
So I have another little game for you guys.
Let's go.
I can just get the.
So it's on my laptop, so I don't know anything about it. So if I win, it's pure coincidence.
Yeah, it's pure Lombardo.
So today, I have another thingy for you guys. So last week you did guess the player from the baby pictures, and Kirk didn't do that well.
So
Yeah.
Liam gave him the
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah. Basically,
Why
Kirk
are we
can't
down-
identify children.
Why are we delving in the
Kirk
past?
only
here?
identifies adults.
Why are we delving in the past?
Because you're an MJ fan.
Okay.
Okay, what are we doing?
Last week Kirk asked for stats.
Oh.
Now he's gonna fucking call me out here.
Stats.
But now you got my laptop now, go on Google.
Yeah.
We're going to
See web.
stats.
Okay. How does it
Questions
work?
are on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Same as last week, there are 10 questions. Shout the name to answer. And yeah.
Okay, let's go.
You know.
Just for the record, I won the first competition last week. Who has the most assists in NBA history?
Tottenham.
Who?
John Stockton.
I think he's for the answer. I'm not going
Nah, that's a stat a lot of people know. John Stockton. 1 to Timmy.
I'm a fast starter.
Tim, Kirk, Wes.
I still lost last week. Who has the most triple doubles? Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
No.
Fuck them again.
No, you can't. It's us now.
Okay.
Triple doubles.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll
Wes. Magic Johnson.
No.
Not.
Can I get one afterwards?
Go.
So-
You're the only one that's left. 5,
Check you.
3, 2, 1. Name any player.
You know the
Yeah,
scoring.
with that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Next. Answer.
Any guess?
Is it,
Come on.
is it Big O?
Answer.
So you're not even just going to try?
No.
No. Okay.
Oscar Robertson.
I just wanted to see if you guys were going to get it right. It was in fact Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
This is stats game.
Get
in!
True.
Okay, next.
Because he averaged a fucking.
I know. The whole season. True. Which player holds the record for 4,000 turnovers in NBA history? Turnovers. It's gonna be a bad point guard.
bottom. Go.
Russell Westbrook.
It's not. Is it not him? Okay, you have to.
I'm gonna go 20 years. You had the ball all the time.
Yo, you think?
I may as well say LBJ, LeBron.
Volume
look at
is-
them.
Yeah.
Look, I mean that's just a
I know,
play
I
for
know.
20 years.
Yeah.
Pure
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Next, which player has the highest average points per game in NBA history? Kirk first.
The GOAT, Michael Jordan.
3-1-0. Which player statistically had the best rookie season in NBA history?
I'm gonna have to rock paper scissors because I don't know which
Yeah,
Okay,
you
you
go
go.
first. You go first.
Best rookie season. Luka Doncic.
Magic Johnson.
Bam. Wilt Chamberlain.
Dummy!
In
4-1-0. Next. Which who has the most All-Star team?
Wait,
That's going to have to be LeBron James.
that is wrong.
Kareem.
Kareem, yeah. 4-2. Kirk, you can still catch him.
It's 2 points. One for each of you because.
It's also LeBron.
Yep.
Huh?
What is this now?
is it?
So they both have the same.
Oh, okay. LeBron didn't make 4 All-Star teams.
No, man. I'm sure LeBron would have made all 19.
Would he be? Oh yeah.
No,
Nah, he was.
This is gonna be his
he cut his
20th
first 3 years.
No ways. No ways. You see how he wants to cause chaos?
He made the rookie team, man. Did they have rookie team when he was rookie?
Which player
All time has a
percentage of?
3-point percentage.
Steve Kerr.
Wow.
Okay. Kirk, you can catch him. It's 4-3-1.
Okay, next question.
Good.
The highest vertical record in the NBA was found.
Vince Carter.
Vertical.
He jumped over, bro.
Wait.
Giannis.
Nope.
Yo.
I'm gonna go when he's done. I've got another guess.
Highest vert. It's not gonna be a tall, bruh.
Who? It is gonna be this.
It's not gonna be a tall, bruh. It's gonna be a 6'5" guy with thin legs.
6'5" is pretty fucking tall.
Yeah, but it's not 7 foot.
Who's the brother that boxed that jumped over Dwight Howard? Superman, Kryptonite. He literally came out in the Kryptonite thing, the dunk contest.
Yes. No man.
Against Dwight. Dwight came in Superman. He stick that in green. Small dude. He boxed. He got knocked out last year.
Oh, you talking about?
You know, he like.
He's the brother from way back.
Is he playing now?
No.
Nah, I see.
I'm gonna need your guess.
What was his name?
Let's see the answer.
Wait, I'm gonna guess
I'm
first.
gonna give you
His name is Nate Robinson.
His name is Nate Rob. You know
Yes,
what?
it's Nate. Yeah.
It's not him. For sure, it's not him.
I'm gonna go.
Highest vertical.
He was like your height, jumping over Dwight.
He's shorter than you.
Beers. 6 beers is not Nate Robinson.
He said Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
Is it him?
Answer?
Can I go?
Yeah.
Can I guess Spud Webb?
No.
Not Spud Webb.
Do you know I have an autograph of Spud Webb? A picture of Spud that he autographed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who is it?
Do you want maybe a clue?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys an easy clue.
Yeah.
You play for Chicago.
Michael Jordan.
He didn't pass. Always did pass.
Yo!
Got a buzz. Got a buzz. Michael Jordan.
Okay, just
How can he not be the GOAT, bro? He jumped the highest out of everybody in the world.
Yo, that's crazy.
okay.
Would you have guessed Jordan?
No.
Not, eh? What is the record for the most steals in NBA history and
What
which
is
player
that?
holds the
Is
record?
that per game?
Yeah.
One game.
Steals total.
Total.
What is the actual record? Like we must give the number.
No. It's
Who? Who holds the most steals?
That's an extra one you can get the
CP3. Yo.
I don't play defense.
Shit. Steals.
So I'm gonna go with Buzz my name here first.
Buzz Lightyear.
Mr. Producer Liam, can I provide an answer?
You can.
I actually also think it was John Stockton.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
But I must also still answer.
Not if I got it right.
Because I was going to say John Stockton.
Okay, last question.
Yeah, which player has the worst free throw percentage in NBA history?
LeBron James.
No,
No,
that is Dwight Howard.
Shaq.
Yes. Not
The worst
free throw percentage in NBA history.
There must be like a ceiling to it. The Brian must have taken more than 1,000
Yeah.
free throws.
I feel like this is a hard one.
I thought it's gonna be Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq was a good guess. But it's not Shaq. So,
And Dwight was also ass. You're gonna be right. I feel like it.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh, good guess. Liam doesn't even know it.
I don't even know this guy is.
Okay, answer.
It was going to be a center. It was
Yeah.
gonna be a center.
Well done. Timmy, you win this week. Well done. Well done.
Did I win Liam's libido?
Yeah. Liam's
One-
Lumbago. What do we
Lumbago.
Lambada.
Liam's Lambada. Well done. You are the winner of Liam's Lambada. Let's give producer Liam a round of applause.
Yes, sir.
Can I just say that was way better than the fucking baby picture?
Thank you, Liam. Thank you very much. Now we can move on to our part that we wanted to talk about. Tim and Kirk.
Really?
Tim and Kirk are going to tell you which two players they would take out of the NBA All-Star game and which two players they would put in and why. KD, I'd like you to go first,
Yes.
bro. Tell me first. Actually, no, you go. Whether you want to put them in or out first. Your choice. Here we go.
So, there's been a lot of talk around James Harden and his snub from the All-Star team. But interestingly, for your stats to count, you would have had to play 70% of your team's games, and he hasn't played 70% of his team's games this year.
Wow.
So his stats actually don't count officially. But he has got I think he's got one more game to play, and once he's played that game, he'd have made 70% of his games, and his stats would actually be better than Halliburton's stats. So
And his team.
he's
It's
better.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
technically, it's not a snub because he's
Yes.
not eligible.
Yes.
Because of because he's
But tomorrow it's gonna be a snub.
But tomorrow it's gonna be a snub. So I stand by my pick of James Harden. And I'll probably take Giroux out and put Harden in. Yeah.
Okay. Second player.
So I had two players in the East. It was either Harden or Jimmy Buckets. But both of them fall in the same category of having not played enough games for their teams. But yeah, so I went with Harden and took Giroux out. In the West, I'm going Aaron Gordon. Still. And I'm taking out JJJ. Because funnily enough, Denver have the best record in the West. Do they have the best record in the league? Pretty close.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's either them
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Boston with
yeah.
one game
But I mean,
difference.
they've got the best record in the West, and they've only got one player in the All-Star game. Memphis are down to third now or fourth, and they've got two players in the All-Star games. And people
But
talk about
it's popularity though.
yeah, exactly.
Popularity, yeah.
Well, the one is popularity, the other one is voted in by the
Okay, true.
by
True,
the coaches. So yeah, I would take JJJ out and I'd put
Aaron
Aaron
Gordon.
Gordon in.
Interesting. Timmy, who you got, man?
Look, I'm glad Katie went that way because he had a couple of strange picks. And I was going to remind him of the fact that he picked Davis and Gordon
Yeah.
and Kawhi. And I was just waiting for him not to put one of those. I was waiting.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, sir, for being consistent.
Yeah.
I completely agree with him on the first pick. I'll take Giroux out, right? And I also would put Harden in.
Interesting.
100% agree with that. Look, the reality is that as much as I think the All-Star game needs to be about your individual brilliance, right? I think it does matter if your team wins.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's got to play into our. It can't just be stats
Correct.
based.
Yeah.
Right? And so that one I completely agree with. Then my other one is, and as strange as it sounds, because it would mean that the Clippers don't have any All-Stars, I'll take Paul George out.
Oh wow.
And as much as I said it's about winning and winning is important, etc., right? In my selection, I put Booker in. After a little bit of reflection, right?
You picked Booker, right?
I did pick Booker, right? I picked Booker, but I'm actually not going to say that he's the one that goes in, right? The reality is that actually, after the last couple of weeks, and if you take a look at it, he really hasn't played a lot, and they haven't been able to rely on him,
Yeah.
right? Interestingly, it sounds like a bit of a contradiction. I'm going to put Siakam in. I did pick Siakam as well. The Toronto hasn't necessarily been good, right?
And that's one of the criticisms why they haven't put him in is because of the fact that his team's not doing well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And in some instances, that's 100%
Yeah.
you, and in others, I just don't think it's him at
Yeah.
this stage. I think he's done everything that I've asked. Right? Look, his team's as good or bad as Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you look at stats, and actually, I think he carries as much or more burden than Halliburton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll stand by my Siakam pick, and I completely agree with Kirk on the Harden pick.
Lekker. I don't think there's any people who disagree with you guys, and all of your picks are legit picks.
Are you happy that DeMar is in?
Yeah.
He's happy we left them all alone.
He was on my chopping block as well.
I love how he says that, like, oh no.
I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you. All right, to our final feature within the show, I really want to talk about the MVP race, and I think this is a conversation that almost feels like we have nothing to talk about because Giannis and Embiid and Joker is so good and so far ahead of everybody. I don't even know if like Jokic is. I watched a few games over the last few weeks. The passes that Jokic makes is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But obviously his height plays a big role. But he's not even making height-type passes.
Yes.
It's through the legs. It's small. I'm amazed at Jokic's ability. But my part of the conversation I want to talk about today is the big man seems to be the superstar in the NBA at the moment. If I just look at the last 3 years with who's been in the running for MVP, and my question to you is, outside of the big man, who do you guys believe is the next guard who could fill that role? Now, of course, there's many players, and I don't want you guys to name all 10. I want you to pick one or two guys that you feel, listen, this guy has the potential to have an MVP season. And you believe he should be either now or next year within that conversation. Who's your guy? Who do you have? Katie, I'd like to start with you, if you don't mind. Who's the guy, bro? Who's next?
So, as much as it pains me to say this,
Kyrie. He's gonna say Kyrie.
It's gonna be a Mav.
Kyrie.
The Mavs have multiple options.
Yeah.
so Jason Tatum is high up on the list. I feel that he's knocking on the door, and if he continues on his trajectory, he could very well be in the conversation.
But isn't he a small forward?
Yeah, producer Liam has said KD didn't hit the buzzer, and that's the wrong position.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a small forward, yeah. And that's the
But I get you.
the closest I can find to
not a
a
big man.
non-center.
Yeah.
And I suppose the next person in the conversation is Luka.
Yeah.
But that's all we're gonna say about Luka. There's a Luka but.
But Kyrie.
Yeah, I think Kyrie's gonna fucking cup his diet for any shot at a fucking. Yeah,
But that's your pick. So Jason Tatum is your outright next guy.
I can't see anybody else in
Who
that
do you see?
conversation. I'd be interested.
So actually interesting, I went to go and take a look at a couple of betting websites. and I went to go take a look at the percentages, right, of who's likely to get the MVP this year, right? And actually, so the first one is Jokic. He had a 70% chance of winning MVP. 70. That's like
Nobody's in this.
they've already given it
Basically.
to him. Yeah. Number 2 actually wasn't Embiid or Giannis, right? It was Luka at like 6.8%, right? Then Embiid at 6.7, then Giannis at like 6.6 or something. So right there and thereabouts, right? And so Luka is sort of that obvious answer. If you're talking about who's got next, then yes, obviously Luka's got next in the future. If we're talking about the now and who are the guards now, and so if you took the centers out, right, and you only had guards who'd win it, right? Well, then sort of Luka kind of up there, but his team wouldn't win enough, right? And so you wouldn't get it, right? Then the next one down at 4% is Tatum. And as much as I poo-pooed Kirk's answer of Tatum, right? Tatum isn't actually a guard, but he is a wing player. So fair enough, right? Then after that, actually there is a slew of guards that come in, right? And they all, I think, get disqualified for a couple of reasons, right? So the one is Lillard.
Yeah.
He's very important.
I really thought you guys were going to tell us Lillard.
But
That was my
the
pick.
team doesn't win enough.
Yeah.
So like Luka,
Yeah.
that'll come out, right? The next one on the list is SGA.
Yes.
Right? Carrying his team, first time All-Star, again, his team just isn't winning enough. Which leaves one guard who is the corner piece of their team, right? And their team is in the top 2 or 3 of their conference. Ja. So actually, if you have to put team wins together as well as who's dominant and that player, it's Ja. But I think if he pisses off the entire league,
Like he's continually doing.
it makes it a little bit harder. But those are that's your pool, right? In the future, Luka, Tatum, Ja, whichever team is going to do better in the year, probably going to go to them. That'll be who's going to carry the torch as a wing player into the future, I think.
So an interesting stat, in the last 10 years, there's only been one shooting guard to win it. The rest have all been point guards, centers or forwards.
Who's the shooting guard?
James Harden.
But I mean, he played point guard when he won MVP.
But he's marked as a shooting
I know,
guard.
yeah. Interesting.
Is Ras marked as a PG?
PG,
I also thought you guys would bring up Devin Booker. I mean, he's injured now. You wouldn't even talk about him like that.
Not even close to the conversation.
But my question was, who's next?
So
Not necessarily this season.
Right.
I think Booker's the type of player that
Maybe.
can have a.
you would have been
But
before
it-
KD got.
He's no
Do
longer
you see
the best
how I
player on his
transitioned
team.
there? Yeah.
So
to-
why do you bring KD up?
Yeah. So to end the show, I'd like us to just wrap with.
Sorry, KD was also on that list. I didn't mention him because he's about midway down.
Okay.
But
After Tatum.
to end the show, we have to talk about the Mavs. We have to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Phoenix. Gents, is this the type of team that with a mid-season trade can go all the way? Just a yes or no. Think of the players they got. Obviously, your answer is 50-50, but your immediate reaction is.
No, my immediate reaction is to mention one more thing, right?
The Mavs.
No, I'll be
Yeah.
that too, but superstar teams, because this is going to count as one of those superstar teams.
Yeah.
Booker,
Yeah.
I'm still going to go DeAndre Ayton, right? CP3, KD, that's a superstar team,
Yes.
right?
I agree.
We've just seen how very seldom they work out. Right? And actually, there's a lot to do with the personalities that you put together. Right? Again, I think it's one of the things that are underrated about Lebron. Right? In large part, it was his leadership, right, that was able to bring Dwayne Wade, right, and Chris Bosh together. Right? That was amazing.
Yeah.
As much as CP3 is vaunted as a leader, right? I'm not sure he's the type of leader that brings people together, right, rather than forces them to do stuff, right? KD is not somebody, right, who likes being even more so than Kyrie, right? I think that they've all got prickly personalities. They all want to win. I think on the court, it is going to be mad, right? But legit, I couldn't name after their first 5, right? Another 5 players, right? They have sent everybody away.
Yeah.
And as much as in the playoffs, right, 5 players will get you far, you still need at least another 4 dudes to take you through the next 2 rounds, and then 3 dudes to help you in the finals, right?
LeBron.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so,
Hey.
and so would they scare me? 100%, they would scare me, right? But if you get them if you get in the first round, I think you're in trouble. You get in the second round, you're in less trouble. And the deeper they go into the playoffs, I think the more beatable they'll become. So I wouldn't put my money on them. I think it makes them some sort of favorite,
Yes.
but not the favorite.
No. Not in the West.
Yeah? And my point is, even if they get out the West, I think I put money on those scary teams in the East, right? Because I still think that the Bucks, Boston, and Philly would give them a sucker punch by the time they make it to the finals.
Katie, initial thoughts?
So they weren't in my 4 to make
Top
the
4 in the West.
the semi-finals.
Correct.
They are now definitely in my top 4 to make the semi-finals.
Instant.
Yeah.
Instant.
Western semifinals.
Western semi-finals. yes,
Okay,
yes.
Well,
so round 2.
Suns.
So that just means that they win one series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are high on my list to make the conference finals. I believe they can make them.
Against?
I'd buy that. Doesn't matter. I'd buy that too.
Probably Denver. I don't see anybody else. I don't believe Dallas. The type of player that they added to Phoenix and the structure that they have in Phoenix, I think will overcome those. It's weird because I touted emotions and personality as the thing that's the downfall of the Dallas Mavericks, and we're doing the exact opposite because he's discounting personality and emotion. And I'm doing the same with the Suns. It's weird, like. But the funny thing is, like, just on KD, if you took any other player, if you said LeBron's going to the Suns, you'd be like, that's a effective move. That's brilliant. Brilliant, LeBron. But because it's KD, you're like, he's Poosman.
He did it again.
Yeah,
He did it again.
Yeah, there's chasing rings.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I mean, I think that 5 is crazy.
Yes.
Even more scary than with LeBron.
So the funny thing is, the thing that I felt was lacking in the Suns is what they got.
Yes, but that's because at that stage they still had a bench.
Yeah.
Now they've got nobody. No Suns, no actual Suns, no Suns on the jersey, no lighters with it.
So, interesting thing about the Nets, just let me pause some because I really had high hopes for them.
Me too, man. Yo.
Harden, Kyrie, and KD over 3 years only played 16 games together. They were on the court at the same time for 16 games.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that's unlucky.
Yes, yeah.
No, all of it. All of it.
No, not all of it. Kyrie decided not to play for most of it. That's just not unlucky.
And Harden just chose to fuck off.
That was a choice.
I like what Charlie said in the group. All of this is Ben Simmons' fault.
So that for me, that is like the one of the biggest what ifs
Yo.
in this era of the NBA. It's like, what if those guys got it right? Good style for you. Good stay on the court.
I'll tell you what, it will make me nar. I'm glad it didn't happen.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time. What a show. What a conversation. This was always lekker. Catch you guys next week when we will more than likely talk again the NBA All-Star Game. When is the All-Star Game? The 16th.
Yeah, it's around Valentine's Day.
So we'll have our next episode before then. More than likely. Thank you guys. Tammy, Katie. See you all next week.
Liam's Labada.
Liam's
Libido.
Libido.